Hey, what's up, guys? In this video, I'm going to try to be as fair as I possibly can. And this channel has a mandate where I don't necessarily give negative reviews. If I receive a plugin or something, or the plugin comes out and, you know, it's kind of negative, or I have a negative thing to say about it, critically in terms of the product, I don't I don't talk about it. And I did that early on, and it's kind of nasty, and I don't feel too good about it. But with the release of Massive X, I want to pick my words carefully because I really appreciate the company. But I hold that company to a higher standard than, an independent developer, with you know, a couple of guys, you know what I mean? Like, I hold them to a higher standard. And there's some anomalies within Massive X that I would like if anyone has any insight on what's going on. Again, I want to pick my words very carefully here. I don't want to jump to any conclusions. It's not, it's not the end of the world. It's still a really good product, but I have some questions about it, and there's some anomalies, and they very well may be bugs. And if those bugs are fixed, I'll be the first one to make a video highlighting it, and I will rectify the video that I am making right now. And this comes down to the quality of the oscillators. Okay, so I'm going to kind of make this educational as well. I have Surum here, which in my opinion is the gold standard for oscillator quality. Phase Plant, which is also very new. And Phase Plant is a good example because Phase Plant operates at extremely high modulation rates. So there can't be any aliasing in their filters, or else you pick it up right away once you got into that like audio rate modulation and things like that. And then I have the original Massive just as a control, and then I have VPS Avenger as another control. So what I have here is all these channels, and I have them gain matched, right? And I'm actually going to turn the master down just so, who wants to listen to, a sine wave for half an hour. There's no funny business in here, right? Ableton is not affecting these anomalies that are occurring because we're looking at it right here. And then on my master, what everything is summed into, if I can find it, is Frequency Analyst Pro. And what I'm thinking, as I'm making this video, is as a control, I'm going to put in Pro Q3. There's nothing happening. These are very passive, and I'll actually move Pro Q3 before Blue Cat. Not going to do anything, but it's just another control. And what we are looking for here is, aliasing. And what aliasing is it's part of how digital sound is recreated. If we take a sine wave, right? This is the Surum sine wave, right? Nothing, no funny business in this sine wave, right? I'll just select it again. Mathematical sine wave, right? Nothing else is going on. It's a pure and clean tone, right? There's one fundamental. We can. I'm actually going to turn it all the way down. We can see it. It's like it's one harmonic. There's no harmonic. It's just the fundamental, right? It's like that, and nothing else is happening there. And that's because Surum, in my opinion, is the gold standard for quality in terms of no aliasing. And this is done with oversampling and filters. If there is any aliasing, it's so far up the frequency spectrum, and the filter is there to prevent these things from happening. This is done with the quality setting. By default, it's 2 times. If we go draft, we see these nasty reflections. And as we go up into the audible realm, we'll see them kind of bounce back and do some things there. But this is aliasing, and it's the same thing with in computer graphics, the jaggy lines because the pixels. That's aliasing. What anti-aliasing, I guess, options in computer games will do is it'll take that and it'll kind of smooth it out. So it'll smooth that line out. It'll take the pixel adjacent to it and it'll average it out, right? So it's like an in-between sort of thing. In audio, it is done with filters. So and oversampling. So there's oversampling. So whatever your base rate is, right? It'll times that by 2, right? So I'm in a particular sample rate in my DAW. It will process everything times 2, and by default, all the effects are oversampled as well, and it will kind of process it with a higher image, and then it'll condense it down again, and then filter it, and that way you get none of that aliasing, right? None of that's going on, and yeah, that is Serum. So you see what happens when it's there, and then when it's not there. This is like no. You can have a really good filter, and that will remove a lot of it. But depending on what's going on, you may get some reflections, which is what I think we're talking about here. Reflections. When I say reflections, I'm talking about once the that fundamental goes past the Nyquist limit, like right at the end there, 22K, it will kind of bounce back in terms of its reflections, which is how digital audio works. So let's move on to another one over here. This is Phase Plant. Okay, so Phase Plant is a new synth, right? We've got our sine wave there, right? Nothing else going on there, just a sine wave. And there needs to be, no aliasing in this because once you get up to the audio rate modulation, super fast modulation, aliasing can rear its ugly head. And then there is none here. And we can even, move up in terms of its pitch here. Right? Nothing going on there. And, we can keep on going. Right? Nothing at all. Right? And then it goes, it stops there. Right? Kind of continue. Right? So as we go up, it'll filter out. No reflections. Good filter. And, properly programmed and all that fun stuff. Right up to the the limit of human hearing and the limit of our agreed upon sample rate in here. So this one right here is the original massive. Aliasing, right? And I'm not that fair, but right now I'm on eco, right? I just want to tell you and show you what aliasing looks like in the original massive. Right, so we're getting rid of a little bit of it there, but not a whole lot. But it's still there, And these look different because each program kind of averages these things out differently. But it's just as a comparison. There it is, and as we increase the pitch, here's where it'll become more and more apparent. Let's go to the limit here. Right? As we increase the pitch, that fundamental, as we keep on going, come on, dude. We'll see it go right up there, and you'll notice as I'm continuing to go up, it will actually go back down as I go up. Like it'll like kind of go down, but it'll go down in volume, right? Did you see that? So it'll kind of going up, and then it'll reverse down. And that is a reflection from aliasing. And you're like, okay, well, that's not that big of a deal, but we're working with sine waves. If you have something with harmonics, like a square, right? Squares are very difficult to implement in, I guess, computer, DSP, computer audio. Square waves are weird. All those peaks and stuff, all of those will reflect. Right? Look at that. Look, look, look. And then they'll kind of cancel each other out. See how that's on the bottom one? Right at the top there. You notice how they're doing that? Not acceptable, right? And I'll go global ultra or preset ultra. Right? And this mitigates it slightly, but not really. But it's a synth from 2007. Another example, VPS Avenger. Okay. This one is also quite new. And this one has, sine wave and all that fun stuff. No effects. You can see sine wave there. Does this have a quality setting? Does it? It might. I just don't know where it is. Anyway, it should have a quality setting somewhere, unless I'm freaking out. Anyway, let's just assume that it's on, high quality or whatever. Sine wave going on, and no aliasing. Right? Let's get up to the the frequency that we can we stop kind of hearing it. Right? And right, no aliasing there. And we're right up to the Nyquist limit. Right up there. Now we're beyond. Oh, we're just kissing it, but there's no reflections. Oh, maybe no. Yeah, no reflections. There sometimes is, and I'll give you an example, but they're so low in amplitude. The Ableton spectrum analyzer here goes down to negative 180 dB, right? And this is kind of noise. This is well below human hearing. We can hear, and it gets gated out anyway. But yeah, there's acceptable levels of those, but it's so low that you don't even hear it, and that's like you can't get rid of all aliasing, but like Pro Q3 doesn't even go down that low because it's just negligible, right? But there they are, those kind of things there. I don't even know really what those are because they don't even reflect down. They just kind of, yeah, they're just kind of there, really. Fine tune, yeah. Yeah, it's like, yeah, it's well below anything that you'd hear. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. So let us drop in massive X, and this is what I'm looking at here, and I hope it's a bug, and they're going to implement a high quality mode. But right off the bat, with like the init routing preset and stuff like that, we have. I'm just gonna maybe turn it. No, I don't need to turn it down because I have the master like that. Okay. Master channel. Okay, so it's a sine wave. Apparently. And, it's rather concerning because that's supposed to be a sine wave. And we have all those harmonics there. And that's probably because of this filter here. So let's just turn it off. And then we're still getting those kind of reflections. They're deep down there, right? Let's get that spectrum back in there so we can have another kind of impartiality layer, right? Looking at 3 different spectrums here. And there they are, and they're, they're up there. The other ones were very low. These ones aren't so much. But yeah, what's that about? Well, let's remove the variables here. I'm just gonna do that. Just simple oscillator, and then drop that into the output. This should be, just the oscillator right to the output. We're directly listening to this in theory. All right, let's turn that to sine wave. And there it is. And I have, I guess, a couple questions. Why is that? Well, maybe it's the actual wave table, right? And all these sine waves do that, right? Just selecting different wave tables. So maybe square sine, this might be a bad example, but directly in the middle here, right? They all do it. I don't really know why that is. Maybe, is there another one? Maybe like an operator, something like clean, right? Still, there's there are these reflections here, and let's pitch it up, right? There is filtering in here because I don't. Oh yeah, it kind of does bounce back a little bit. I'm looking at the Pro Q3 over there. Yep, it does bounce back, right? Yep, but that's pretty nasty. It is low, but I expect a little bit more. And I was looking for the like an oversampling mode or something like that. Some of the, well, a lot of the inserts have. Let me find one. Big Crusher, of all things, has a high quality mode, and I thought, like, why is there no like high quality mode here? I'm sure there is. I'm sure it's in development still, but these wavetables with the sine wave, it's like there are those harmonics. So let's try another one. There are these utility oscillators here. So if these, if anything, are gonna have no aliasing. These are, well, not, these are just basic wave shapes. So this sine, right? This should be pretty clean as well. But yeah, same thing. Right, you got those reflections down there. And I'll sweep it slowly, and you can see, okay, bottom here. Check out the bottom. I'm moving down, and look at those, like those peaks are moving in opposite directions, converging, and then mixing together, and then doing all this weird stuff. And that, yeah, that is aliasing. I know this because I'm working on a project, and I'm doing a thing with alias. So I know what aliasing kind of looks like. And I know there's a bunch of different filters. Each one is more intense than the next. And I think it's like kind of a trade-off where we're optimizing. We're trying to figure, they're trying to optimize it so it works well on all machines. But yeah, to me, that's kind of concerning, especially when you have like these crazy wavetables with so many freaking harmonics. It's crazy. Like even something like, I don't even have that on. So we go oscillator 1 into here. Right, all this. Right? You got all that. It's like super crazy stuff, for lack of a better term. I would hope that in, a release very quickly. Like it's not, I want to be fair. It's not like the end of the world, right? There is aliasing filters in there, but I don't think there's oversampling. And it's, yeah, again, they want to make it run well on all machines here. And, let's go back to, yeah, the sine wave. Let's just look at this one. All right, so there's all the sine waves have, these aliasing artifacts in them. Let's go to filter, right? Filter here, no resonance. These filters accentuate it as far as I can tell, right? They do that. Right? It's very much accentuated, right? And there's no oversampling option or high quality. I've looked. There's no like these demos. To be fair, it's version 1, but there's no there's no oversampling option here. I've really looked. I'm just like, what the heck's going on here? And even in the voices, can you select? You know what I mean? Like you can't do it. And like as you compound all of these effects and all this stuff, you get you get these compounded aliasing effects because they kind of as they go down the chain, they make it worse and worse and worse. Right? That's a pretty nasty one. That one's not so bad. Right? Still pretty bad. Right? In my opinion, you know, I I want to hold native instruments to a higher standard than this, right? Like these should be, when resonance is down and filters, like these should be pretty pretty like, transparent, neutral. Anyway, I don't know what to say. If anyone can kind of make sense of this, kind of tell me what's going on. I'm sure they're gonna fix it. But yeah, that's just something that amuses me or concerned me or made me go, huh, what's going on there? And totally fair to compare it to modern synths that kind of do the whole no aliasing thing properly. But something's going on here. I don't know what it is. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. I hope you learned stuff. I don't want to come off as, I don't like to do videos like this, but anyway. Yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed that video. Take care and have a good one.